Attenborough, right? Is anyone else with me? His brother was way cooler. He didn't bang on about the world. He made dinosaur movies about Gandhi. That was a richer contribution. David Attenborough's always whinging about catastrophe. Him and Stephen Hawking before he went extinct. Maybe he had a point. Anyway, and I don't know if there's any new parents in the crowd, but if there is, as soon as your child can speak, you need to have a talk with them about their impending oblivion. Be like, Jack, you know, in 75 years, you're going to be incinerated. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. Ask David Attenborough. I am an uncle, obviously. I recently had my third niece. Not bragging, but I'm getting pretty good at it. My youngest brother had a baby recently, and he gave her this delightful little nickname. He called her Fathead. Not Big Head, or fucking Fathead. These are her role models. Like, she's going to have a great sense of humor. She has no choice. My brother is always like, John, look at the fat head on my baby. I'm like, you're going to have to give her an actual name. But luckily, she's grown into her head recently, which is great. Because they kept telling me, like, John, you know, her head's in the 98th percentile for size. And I'm like, that's great. She's never going to fall down a well. It actually becomes a medical condition at the 99th percentile. Could you imagine a couple of 98 percenters looking at some 99 percenters like fucking big-headed freak? But she's really beautiful, and you barely notice the head anymore. And then she's a genius. We know what we can attribute it to, because science says bigger heads correlate with higher intelligence, just like larger hands in men correlate with crime. So I've been taking these CBD capsules lately because I had to stop smoking weed, right? Because it was sending my mind fucking insane. Like, all my worries and fears and repressions were just out in the open. I was like, no, thank you. So recently, my friend said he takes these CBD oil capsules. They get him really mellow, but none of the weird high. He said he was always doing it. And I was like, I trust your judgment, friend who hasn't worked for several years. So we took 5 to start. And he said this would get us perfect. And I took it, and it was nice. It was like relaxing cod liver oil. And after a couple of hours, we didn't think it was affecting us. We said, fuck it, let's take 5 more. And after this, we took another 10. And that's when things took a bit of a turn. Like, I didn't feel relaxed anymore, kind of just intensely paranoid. Neither of us were talking. I was thinking his thoughts, he was thinking my thoughts. It was fucked up. And I asked him eventually, I said, how does it normally feel after this many? And he said, I don't know, I've never taken this many. And I was like, what? I thought this was legal. And he goes, I said, isn't this harmless? And he goes, yeah, but you're only supposed to take 1. We took 20. So anyway, my friend was making me dinner. It took him 3 hours. We couldn't even eat anything. I went to some other fucking place. I was in the bathroom hiding, just looking at myself in the mirror like, I don't see myself, but I think I exist. But who is the me that's seeing her? Am I just God experiencing himself or herself or itself? Is everyone God? Is God consciousness? That makes sense. I think we're all God. This kind of bullshit. I was higher than I ever got in my life. I got higher than I ever got in proper illegal weed. Turns out there's plenty active THC and CBD oil if you take 20 times the recommended dosage of extra strong CBD capsules. It's kind of like 1 aspirin might cure your headache, 20 will rupture your liver. And if anyone's interested, these are the CBD capsules in question. And that's my time, guys. You've been fun. Thanks. My name is Jed O'Keefe.
Woo! Woo! Thank you, John. Oh, man, I fucking love watching John perform. He is a wonderful fella. Oh, man. So up next, we got one of my friends from the Durango comedy scene. He's recently moved back out to Atlanta. Give it up for Mr. ATL himself, David Oakley.
Hey, guys. What's up, man? Yeah, I just moved back home to Georgia, and when I came here, I was on unemployment, so I haven't had a job. So I've just been spending a lot of time by myself, which has become really depressing. Like, straight up, I watched Old Yeller this week, kind of just to feel better. And, I mean, it worked. It worked. I mean, like, at least I'm not a dead dog. At least I'm not a dead dog. That's what I keep telling myself, you know. But no, but I honestly, like, I know it's like depression's a hack subject for comedians, but like I feel like I've got some positive out of this past time. Like, it doesn't always have to be bad. Like, all right, couple examples. For one, I was at the grocery store with my wife, and she was like, "Hey, I was planning on making this for dinner, but it's got mushrooms in it." And she knows I hate mushrooms. I always have my whole life. But for some reason, she asked me, but I was pretty down. So I was just like, I don't care. You know, like a little 14-year-old. It's like, I don't care. Make whatever you want. And now, y'all, I like mushrooms. So that's positive. Let's see. What else? God. I don't know. Oh yeah. Like, all right. Have y'all ever been so depressed that you had to take a shit? You get up, you walk to the bathroom, but as soon as you see the toilet, you just say, what's the point? Man, is my internet as unstable as I am? Yeah. Is it? Am I just freezing up, Trevin?
Just momentarily, Dave. Keep going. It's adding to it.
Just plow through. Okay. Let's see. Oh, but I think I found the cure for depression, which I don't know if John has this, but he left anyway, which I don't blame him. But I feel like the cure for depression is Costco. Do you guys know about Costco at all? All right. This is not going to work then. I don't know. All right. You know what, Trevin? I'm going to yield my time back to you, Governor, because I can't get a good connection here, and I don't know what I'm saying.
Oh, come on, Dave. You can keep going. We believe in you. It's just another couple minutes. Come on, Dave.
I want to know what about Costco?
I can't tell if. Oh, you know what it is?
Yeah, we know Costco.
Okay.
Everybody knows Costco. Come on, Dave.
Tell it.
All right, fuck yeah, I'll tell you about Costco then. Goddamn, that's my favorite part. I mean, first of all, who wouldn't want to go somewhere where you can buy a fresh hot dog, an area rug, and 5 dozen eggs in the same visit? And then second of all, like, I mean, I walk into Costco, man, and I feel like I'm walking through the pearly gates. Like, there's an angel choir going on in my head in the background. And then God just shouts from the heavens, yo, what up, my N-word? But God actually says the N-word. God actually says the N-word because Jesus is black. And, you know, he also created words. But it feels good, you know? Every white person loves being called the N-word, so it feels good immediately. And then you walk in and feel the smell of, you smell the aroma of the hot dogs, and it just like lifts your depression. And the smell, fuck the smell, the taste of those hot dogs, the best hot dogs in the world, man. I swear, like the Costco hot dogs are like last meal before you get executed hot dogs. They're delicious. Plus, also, I feel like there's probably something that makes you feel special about having to flash a badge to get in there. You know, because everybody likes being a part of a club. You know, it's just like you and 100 million other kids are allowed in this store. You know, fuck those other 7 billion losers. But I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. If you don't believe me that Costco really helps your depression, dude, I test you. Go in there, if you can even get in, and look at all those fat fucks buying food in bulk, laugh in their face and see if you don't feel better. I don't know. I love Costco's. Basically, I've been to Costco like 5 times this week. That's where this came from. That's it, Trevin.
Oh man, everybody give it up for Mr. David Oakley. Oh, fun fact. I don't know if y'all knew this, but there was a corporate meeting with the Costco board of directors. And the story goes that the topic came up that they don't charge enough for the hot dog, that they're actually losing money on the hot dog. And the president of Costco, if I remember correctly, the quote was, "If you change the price of the hot dog, I will fucking kill you." True story. Look it up. Anyways, coming up next, we've got another performer returning from last week here for her second Zoom mic. She was amazing last time she was on here. I'm really looking forward to this. give it up for the ever wonderful and charming Miss Caitlin Minoski.
Woo!
Woo! All right. Thank you so much. So a little bit about me. I love classic rock. And I know that that's pretty surprising since I look like a sickly Victorian orphan boy. But I mean, I love classic rock. Anyone else have to listen to their dad's music growing up? Anyone? Like it reached a point now where I actually prefer it. And it's gotten really awkward because now every time he doesn't know who a musician is, he'll be like, Caitlin, who's Little Peep? And I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to know? You didn't let me listen to anything that was made after 1995. Like, I'm out of the time. You can probably guess, me and my parents, we have a tenuous relationship. They're baby boomers. I'm Gen Z. So if you think that the divide between baby boomers and millennials is a lot, imagine adding another layer on top of that. And because it's not even talked about on Fox News, my parents don't know what to think. They're like, well, the media tells me I should hate millennials, but they haven't told me what to think about Gen Z. And so every interaction we have is just confusing. So they're like, I don't know if I should be angry or sympathetic, or like they're like, what's the flow? I need more direction. So I get two things from my parents, which is my love of classic rock and my confusing sense of identity politics. But like, it's hard to like rock and look the way I do. Like the other day, there was a motorcycle gang that was driving down my street, and they're blasting Copperhead Road, a song which I love. And so they pulled at the light, and I'm like, yeah, man. And I catch eyes with the guy at the head, and I'm like, rock and roll. And he just like looks at me, defeated, because I'm like dressed like this with my tumbler that says life is what happens between coffee and wine. I cannot believe that this woman is trying to build rapport with me. Like, it's so embarrassing. Like, it was like seeing someone you don't want to see at the grocery store. Like, he just was like, I can't wait for this light to turn so I can leave and not be associated with this woman that dresses like Mrs. Butterworth. Like, I can't be having it. And it's honestly, it's probably a good thing that I was born later and I love this music, because I would have wanted to get in with the band so bad, and I would make a terrible roadie. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I'm extremely non-confrontational. Like, those are three things that you have to have in an entourage. Like, I feel like I would get in and then I would be left at a Waffle House with the check. Like, I'd go to the bathroom and then like they ditch me. So I come out and I'm like talking to the wait. I'm like, Whitesnake? Whitesnake? And I'm like talking to the waitress. I'm like, you saw them here, right? Like, I was with them. Like, no, they were just here. And now I'm like looking like an absolute clown because the check's there. I'm extremely risk averse and afraid of consequences, so I'm gonna pay it. But I'm like looking at it with my bifocals. It's ironic to anybody that witnesses it. So it's probably a good thing that I just get to pull it up on my YouTube playlist. All right. Thank you so much. That's all I have. I'm Caitlin.
Woo! Thank you, Caitlin, for another wonderful set. I didn't know the song 1985 was written about you. I mean, you know all the classics. You know every line. Do you know Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink? Do you know St. Elmo's Fire? Anyways, I fucking love that song way too much for how okay it is. Anyways, before we move on to our next comic, I just want to remind everybody watching that we are trying to raise money tonight for my good friend, Mr. Doug Ware. He's been a great pillar of the Fort Collins comedy scene. He's one of the genuinely most kindest and welcoming and warm-hearted people that you would ever have the pleasure to meet. And he did suffer a heart attack on Monday, unfortunately. and is currently in the ICU. So if you're able to, please look at the link below in the description and help throw a few bones his way. That is that is king shit. If you want to be a king, do that. And yeah, but moving on, we've got another wonderful performer for you here tonight. We've got joining us from I don't know where, but we've got the ever handsome and ever sensual Mr. Seth Rabin.
Thank you. It's good to be here. I live in Madison, Wisconsin, but I'm originally from the Chicago area, so it's nice to meet you all. I'll tell you a little about myself. I used to be on the autism spectrum. When I was 2 years old, doctors placed me at the bottom, which I guess meant that I was a little autistic. Like if I was a rapper, my name would have been Lil Audie, and my hit song would have been called "Shake That Ass Burgers." So I'm also a Sagittarius, and the mythical creature for the Sagittarius is the centaur, which is half human, half horse. And I think I'm a lot like a centaur because my upper body is human, and my lower body has saved a lot of land because of my manure. So, obviously the whole reason we have these virtual open mics, as great as they are, is, we have the pandemic, and it's unfortunate, but I'm not surprised we have the pandemic because I think when we look back on the last several years, it'll be remembered as a time where everything that we thought would never, ever happen ended up happening, for better or worse, good or bad, like more states are legalizing marijuana. We have a global pandemic. I got to third base, still got a UTI. But luckily we got the vaccines now, which is great. And my parents just got the vaccine, which is great. Like I said, I live in Wisconsin, and there was a pharmacist here that just got arrested for leaving vaccines out of the freezer on purpose. And when they asked him why he did it, he said it was because the vaccines will alter people's DNA. And I thought that was ridiculous. I didn't think that made sense at all. And I called my mom to tell her what I thought about it. And I think she agreed with me. I'm not really sure. I didn't know my mom was Korean. So everybody always talks about, the pandemic, the riots, all the stuff that's been going on in the world. But one thing that people forget to mention is porch pirates. I don't know if you guys know what those people are. That's where they steal packages off of people's front steps. And I have something to confess. I am actually a porch pirate myself, but not because I steal people's packages, but because sometimes I'll sit on my front step thinking, what do you do with a drunken sailor early in the morning? I got to start losing weight. I've packed on a lot of pounds, since the pandemic started. My biggest weakness is I go to gas stations and I usually get like cookies and things like that. And I noticed that Oreos are starting to sell these special kinds. Like they're now selling Lady Gaga Oreos. I don't know if you've ever seen these. What they are is they're pink cookies, but there's a green filling in the middle. And I've had them and they're okay. They're pretty good. They're a lot better than Kid Rock Oreos. I don't know if you ever had those. What they are is the cookies are white and the filling is trash. Man, like I said, I live in Wisconsin, so it's starting to get colder. We just had a snowstorm a couple of days ago. The temperatures are dropping, and I got to start bundling up more. I usually go out. I'm too lazy. I go out in like sweatshirts and shorts, and I don't really bundle up. I'm like the anti-Bernie Sanders. Like he has a coat. I have a sweatshirt. He has mittens. I have pockets. He's a socialist. I'm a social red flag. We're very different. So I'm a kid of the 90s. I am a millennial. I grew up, I grew up in the 90s, and one of my favorite movies of all time is Space Jam. I love Space Jam. And I made a post on Facebook recently about how I was willing to see the new Space Jam with LeBron James. And someone commented on my page saying, hey, what you should do is next time you have sex, do it doggy style so that you both can be watching Space Jam on your TV. And the old saying, let's not put the buggy before the horse. Let's also not put Bugs Bunny before the horse. Okay. So another thing about me, I recently saw a scene from this movie called On Golden Pond, starring Katharine Hepburn and Henry Fonda. And the scene is she's giving this inspirational speech to her husband, saying like, you're my knight in shining armor. You're going to get back on that horse and you're going to go. And he sort of jokingly, nonchalantly says, I don't like horses. The thing about me is that, I get too easily inspired by movies, and one thing you should also know about me is that I don't live too far from a racetrack. And I am so glad that he didn't say, fuck the horses. So I'll get out of here on this. All that stuff I was saying earlier about Sagittariuses and zodiacs and astrology and stuff like that, I don't really mean that stuff. I don't take that stuff seriously. It's just banter. It's just all good fun. I do have a question, though. Do we have any Tauruses in the room tonight?
Yes.
Whoever cheered for that, you suck. Guys, my name is Seth Rabin. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
Woo! Mr. Seth Rabin, man. If he wasn't the
I'll get out of here on
thing
this.
to come out of Wisconsin.
All that stuff I was saying earlier about Sagittariuses and zodiac.
Yeah, Seth Rabin. Whew, if he wasn't the next best thing to come out of Wisconsin since Culver's, I'd be a little mad for him insulting the host. Thanks for joining us tonight, Seth. Wonderful set. You, sir, are a treat. And speaking of treats, coming up, we've got our final performer for the night, a good friend of mine. She's out in Wyoming, but I know her from the Fort Collins comedy scene. Everybody, please give it up for the ever wonderful, ever fantastic Miss Amanda Custer.
Woo!
Woo! Hi, everybody. My name is Amanda Keister. If you're sitting down right now, you're sitting on your butt. You're sitting on your butt. That is my last name. I apologize to Seth. I am the one that did the faux pas and unmuted when I was checking out the live YouTube. So I am so sorry.
It's all good. It's all good.
I was like, you're like, who's the dummy who's unmuted right now and checking out the YouTube? It was me. I'm the dummy. So sorry. I was like, ugh. I'm also like, every time I'm doing a Zoom, I'm like, or just like any live thing and I'm unmuted, like I want to support you all. I want to laugh. I want to like share and cheer everybody on. Like it's, this is great. But I'm also like, I really don't fart live on like Zoom. Like that's my worst fear. Like I'm like dreading it every moment. But you know what they'll say? They'll say, did that come from a keister? Like I know they're going to blame me because it's my last name. It's going to happen. Trevin, huge shout out to you again for hosting this. This is awesome. Yeah, if you are live or if you're watching this after that, GoFundMe for Doug, 100% do that. That's great. Great people, great support. I love being part of the Fort Collins comedy scene, even though I'm in Wyoming. I'm kind of a transplant. I'm out in the middle of this nowhere state, and when I was dating, I was sending packages to some guy in Kentucky because I was dating him, not because I'm like, who's this random person I'm going to send packages to? No, I was dating a guy and I was sending him care packages. And here's just a clue for everyone. If you're dating someone and you're trying to give a compliment, like you're trying to flirt with them, this is not a way of doing it. So like he said, wow, Amanda, you are so considerate. And I was like, that's not really, I mean, I could see that in like a work evaluation, like you're so considerate, but like it's not really lovey-dovey. So my woman crazed brain was like, automatically I see a graveyard, and in the graveyard there's an empty hole, but it's not empty. There's my body dead in it, and on the tombstone above it says, here lies Amanda Keister, died alone, so considerate. That's what I pictured right away. Then just randomly, because I am a little over 30, my family just assumes I'm a lesbian. They just like automatically are like, you're gay, because I don't have someone. I'm not in a relationship. So yeah, then I was on a date in my past, And I told the guy, hey, yeah, my parents think I'm a lesbian. And he goes, like I went into explanation. I was like, well, I think it's because I'm over. He interrupts me. He goes, oh, is it because of those bangs? I was like, what? No, okay. And then, he was like, oh, it's because of the mask you're wearing. And I was like, stop, this is not 20 questions. Don't guess why you think my parents think I'm a lesbian. What the? Okay, that's fine. I went to go visit my lovely folks up north. They live in Minnesota, and I drove super COVID safe, wore a mask, and I was helping my mom out. She was like, can you run these pumpkin bars to the detached garage? And I was like, sure, no problem. Because it's like, that's like a freezer, right? So I ran outside, dropped it off. Lo and behold, my dad runs upstairs and he goes, did the FedEx truck come by? I was like, apparently he saw me run across, but he didn't know what it was. And I was like, I haven't gained that much weight. Come on. I'm a truck size, like, with the new year coming around, a lot of people love to come up with different, New Year's resolutions. And a lot of people purchase Fitbits. I'm not a huge fan of Fitbits, and I'll tell you why. If I needed something telling me I'm a disappointment every day of my life, I'd just give my mom a call. Just telling you. I would usually do a lot of different comedy sets, try to test it out on my mom and dad when I'm visiting them too. And we're in the car and just like, doing my thing. And my mom, she turns around, she goes, next time you do comedy, you should invite your dad. So at least one person laughs at your jokes. Oh, weird burn. With COVID, it's a hot topic, but the littlest things have made me super depressed. Like just the littlest things. I'll give you an example. Travel shampoo, travel conditioner, travel toothpaste. They're so tiny and they piss me off because we can't do a whole bunch of. Another thing is being in Wyoming. I've been living by myself and just taking in the surroundings, and I've noticed these little prairie rabbits, and I see that they are they're out and about and they're multiplying, so I know for a fact they're having more fun than I am. I came up with this thought. I was running late and I was like, is it now socially acceptable to say like I'm running like on CP time? COVID? Pandemic time? Is that okay? Can we say that? That's a little touchy. One of the things I want to say is when I'm in grocery shopping, at least in Wyoming, which is really sad, they have the aisle markers telling you what direction you're supposed to go down the aisle still. And I'll go down and you'll come across one person that's going the wrong direction and they'll have a mask on and that's fine. But if you come down the wrong aisle and you don't have a mask on, you're a loser! You're such a loser! God! What is wrong with you? You're a loser. I just want to say that. And I'm working on this character bit. This is my friend. It's also really good to meet her. This is Darling, and she likes to party. So let me clear my throat. Okay. Darling, if you're ever in a bar, okay, you go to a bar and you're about to leave, and you stop all of a sudden before you leave, before you exit. Your friends will look at you and be like, why you stopped? And you can tell them, I can't leave because of the sign. And the sign reads, no drinks beyond this point, right? And they'll look at your hands and they'll say, you don't have a drink. And you gotta say, but I'm a tall water. I thank you. Ray's voice. My name's Amanda Keister. It's been a pleasure. You all have a lovely night.
Woo! Thank you, Amanda. That was our last performer of the evening. I want to thank everybody that was able to tune in for joining us for another wonderful Poogle night and for putting up with my horribly out of focus web camera this evening. I just want to remind everybody one more time that we are trying to raise some money for our good friend Dave. For our good friend, did I say Dave? Oh no, what a fuck. There was my faux pas. Oh geez. I meant Doug Ware. There is a link to the GoFundMe down below. Doug is a wonderful guy, one of the nicest dudes out there. Guy worked as a fucking clown for children's birthday parties. Not because he wanted to make money, but because he genuinely wanted to help spread joy. If that ain't a fucking teddy bear of a man, I don't know what is. All right? And please help our buddy Doug out. Donate down below if you're able to. Again, that's real king shit. If you do that, you're a fucking king and or queen. Point is, you're a fucking wonderful person. Anyways, thanks again for joining us for another wonderful Poogle mic. We will be back next week with the last mic of Series 1, and I will see you all then. Take care.
Take care, everybody.
Whew. All right. That is